Imagine walking through a moonlit garden where flowers glow like stars and calm waters reflect the night sky. This story will gently guide you to a pavilion of dreams where your mind and body can finally rest. Close your eyes, relax, and drift into a world where time slows down. Chapter 1. The Twilight Path. The evening air whispers secrets as you find yourself walking along a path you've never seen before, yet somehow feels familiar beneath your feet. The sun has long since disappeared behind distant hills, leaving only the gentlest kiss of amber light painting the western horizon. Above, the first stars are beginning to emerge, tiny pinpricks of silver in the deepening canvas of night. Your footsteps make barely a sound on the soft earth beneath you. The path stretches ahead, winding gently through tall grasses that sway with each breath of the evening breeze. These grasses, still heavy with the day's moisture, brush softly against your legs as you walk, leaving the faintest trace of coolness on your skin. The air itself seems to hold the memory of warmth, that perfect temperature that makes you forget you have a body at all. Jasmine. The scent reaches you before you even notice the delicate white flowers cascading over an old stone wall to your left. It's not the overwhelming perfume of a garden in full bloom, but something gentler, more intimate, as if the flowers are sharing their fragrance only with you, only in this moment. You breathe deeply, and the sweetness fills your lungs, mingles with your blood, becomes part of you. The dew is everywhere. Each blade of grass holds 1,000 tiny mirrors, reflecting what little light remains in the sky. Your shoes grow damp as you walk, but it doesn't matter. Nothing seems to matter here, except the simple act of moving forward, one gentle step after another. The moisture in the air clings to your skin like a cool silk veil, and you realize you've never felt quite so refreshed, quite so alive to the world around you. A nightingale calls from somewhere in the growing darkness, its liquid notes cascading through the air like drops of silver. The sound seems to come from everywhere and nowhere at once, wrapping around you, accompanying your quiet journey. Soon another joins it, and then another, until the evening air is filled with their gentle symphony. But it's not overwhelming. Each voice distinct, each song a thread in a tapestry of sound that seems woven specifically for this moment, this path, this perfect evening. You pause for a moment to listen more closely, and that's when you see it. A tiny spark of golden light dancing near your shoulder. A firefly, its glow pulsing in slow, hypnotic rhythm. As you watch, another appears, and then another. Soon, the air around you is filled with these living stars, their soft light painting trails of gold against the gathering darkness. They seem to be leading you forward, their gentle dance pulling you deeper along the path. The way ahead curves slightly to the right, and as you follow it, the landscape begins to change. The wild grasses give way to more cultivated ground, though still soft and natural. Ancient trees line the path now, their branches reaching across to form a canopy overhead. Through their leaves, you can see the moon beginning to rise, full and luminous. casting everything in its ethereal silver light. The air grows even more fragrant here. Honeysuckle mingles with the jasmine, and beneath it all, the green scent of growing things, of rich earth and clean water. You can hear it now, the sound of water moving gently somewhere ahead. Not a rushing stream, but something softer, more peaceful. Perhaps a fountain or a small waterfall trickling over stones. Your pace slows naturally as you walk beneath these guardian trees. There's no hurry here, no destination that can't wait. Time itself seems different in this place, stretched and honey slow, each moment lasting as long as it needs to. Your breathing deepens, your shoulders relax, and you realize you've been carrying tension you didn't even know was there. The fireflies continue their dance around you, and you begin to understand that they're not just random insects drawn to the evening air. They're companions, guides perhaps, leading you toward something wonderful that waits ahead. Their light pulses in rhythm with your heartbeat, or perhaps your heart has adjusted to match their gentle tempo. As you emerge from beneath the canopy of trees, the full glory of the night sky opens above you. The moon, now fully risen, bathes everything in its silver radiance. Stars scatter across the heavens like diamonds spilled on dark velvet, so bright and close you feel you could reach up and pluck them from the sky. The Milky Way flows overhead, a river of light connecting horizon to horizon. And there, just ahead, you see it, a gate of white stone, its surface polished smooth and gleaming in the moonlight. The gate stands open, welcoming, its graceful arch framing what lies beyond. Through the opening, you catch glimpses of something extraordinary. Paths of pale gravel, flowers that seem to glow with their own inner light. And beyond it all, the suggestion of wonders that wait to be discovered. The nightingales sing more sweetly now, their music rising and falling like gentle waves. The fireflies cluster more thickly around the gateway, their golden light competing with the silver radiance of the moon. The air grows even more fragrant, filled with scents you can't quite identify, but that make your heart lift with unexplained joy. You approach the gate slowly, savoring each step, each breath. Your hand reaches out to touch the white stone, and it's warm beneath your palm, smooth as silk, and somehow alive with gentle energy. The stone seems to pulse with the same rhythm as your heart, as the fireflies, as some great and peaceful heartbeat that connects all things. Looking through the gateway, you see a garden unlike any you've ever imagined. Paths of crushed pearl wind between beds of flowers that shimmer with ethereal light. Ancient trees spread their branches protectively over hidden groves, their leaves whispering secrets in languages older than words. In the distance, you glimpse the sparkle of water reflecting the stars, and beyond that, structures of impossible beauty, rising like dreams made manifest. This is a place outside of ordinary time, beyond the reach of worry or fear. Here, in this threshold moment, you understand that you're about to enter somewhere sacred, somewhere that exists not just as a garden, but as a state of being. a realm of perfect peace that your soul has been seeking without knowing it. The gateway waits. The garden beyond pulses gently with silver light and infinite possibility. The nightingales sing their invitation. The fireflies dance their welcome. And the jasmine-scented breeze beckons you forward into wonders beyond imagination. You step through the gate. Chapter 2. The Flower-Lined Avenue. The moment you cross the threshold, something fundamental shifts in the very air around you. The transition is seamless, like stepping from one dream into another, more beautiful dream. The white stone gate behind you seems to dissolve into moonlight, not disappearing so much as becoming unnecessary, as if it has served its purpose in bringing you to this place beyond places. Before you stretches an avenue, unlike anything that could exist in the ordinary world. The path beneath your feet is made of what appears to be crushed pearls mixed with silver sand, creating a surface that glows softly with its own inner light. Each step you take sends tiny sparkles dancing around your feet, as if you're walking through stardust made solid. The sensation is extraordinary, firm enough to support you, yet somehow yielding, as if the very ground welcomes each footfall. On either side of this luminous pathway, flowers bloom in abundance that defies all natural law. But these are not the flowers of earthly gardens. Each bloom seems crafted from moonbeams and starlight, their petals shimmering with an otherworldly radiance that makes them appear both solid and ethereal at once. The colors are subtle yet profound, not the bold primaries of day-blooming flowers, but the sophisticated palette of night itself. Deep purples that seem to hold the essence of twilight, silver blues like captured moonlight, pale golds that echo the glow of distant stars. You pause beside the first flower bed, drawn by their impossible beauty. Here, lilies rise on stems of translucent green, their white petals edged with the faintest suggestion of silver. As you watch, tiny motes of light drift from their centers, floating upward like wishes made visible. The fragrance they release is intoxicating, pure and clean, yet complex, carrying within it the scent of mountain snow, of morning mist, of clean rain falling on summer gardens. Moving deeper into the avenue, you discover roses unlike any that have ever bloomed in mortal soil. Their petals are deep purple-black at the edges, gradually lightening to silver white at their hearts, creating an effect like captured twilight. When the gentle breeze stirs them, they release not just fragrance, but actual sparkles of light that dance around your head like friendly spirits. The scent is intoxicating. Rose, yes, but rose as it might smell in heaven, pure and perfect, and touched with mysteries beyond naming. The lavender grows in great sweeping beds, its spikes heavy with flowers that glow like tiny purple stars. As you brush against them with your fingers, they release not just their familiar calming fragrance, but also a soft chiming sound, like distant bells made of crystal. The sound is incredibly peaceful, each note hanging in the air. Walking further along the avenue, you come upon a sight that takes your breath away entirely. Lotus flowers, but not growing in water. Instead, they rise directly from the earth on stems of living light. Their great white and pink petals spread wide to catch the moonlight, Each lotus glows from within with a warm golden radiance. And as you watch and wonder, you see that tiny figures seem to dance within each bloom, not quite visible, but suggested, like glimpses of joy made manifest. The avenue stretches on before you, curving gently to follow the natural contours of this mystical landscape. With each step, new wonders reveal themselves. Here, a patch of flowers that look like captured aurora, their petals shifting through subtle hues of green and blue and purple. There, blooms that appear to be made of crystallized music, their surfaces reflecting not just light, but somehow sound itself, creating tiny rainbows of melody that dance around their stems. The air is filled with the most extraordinary fragrances. Unlike earthly gardens where different flowers might compete for attention, here every scent harmonizes perfectly with every other. The jasmine you noticed on the path outside has multiplied into 1,000 variations. Night jasmine and star jasmine, and varieties that have no earthly names, each adding its own note to a fragrant symphony that makes your spirit soar with unexplained joy. You become aware that you're not alone in this luminous avenue. At first, you notice only subtle movements in your peripheral vision, hints of wings, flashes of color too quick to properly see. But as you continue walking, your eyes adjust to the magical nature of this place, and you begin to perceive your companions more clearly. A butterfly alights on your shoulder, but this is no ordinary butterfly. Its wings are translucent silver, edged with tiny points of light like captured stars. The patterns on its wings seem to shift and flow as you watch, creating mandalas of beauty that speak directly to your soul. When it flies away, it leaves a trail of golden sparkles that hang in the air for long moments before fading. More butterflies appear, each one unique and impossibly beautiful. Some have wings like stained glass windows, their transparent surfaces painted with colors that don't quite exist in the normal spectrum. Others flutter by on wings that seem to be cut from pieces of the night sky itself, complete with tiny constellations that pulse with gentle light. A soft chirping draws your attention upward, and you see small birds perched among the glowing flowers. These too are touched by the same magic that fills everything in this place. Their feathers shimmer with iridescent light, and when they sing, their voices harmonize perfectly, not just with each other, but with the very air itself, creating music that seems to rise from the earth and descend from the stars simultaneously. One little bird, no larger than your thumb, with feathers like spun moonlight, flutters down to hover near your face. Its tiny eyes hold an intelligence and kindness that makes your heart skip with wonder. It chirps once, sweetly, then begins to fly slowly ahead of you along the avenue, clearly indicating that you should follow. More clearly, as you walk behind your feathered guide, you notice that the flowers respond to your presence, not dramatically, but subtly, petals turning slightly toward you as you pass, releasing gentle puffs of fragrance and sparkles of light, as if greeting you with the shy friendliness of woodland creatures. The very ground beneath your feet seems to pulse with welcome, and you realize that this garden is not just a place, but a living entity, aware and benevolent, glad of your presence. The avenue begins to widen as you continue, and you become aware of paths branching off to either side, disappearing into groves of trees whose branches hang heavy with blossoms that glow like lanterns. Part of you is curious about where these side paths might lead, what wonders they might reveal. But your small winged guide continues steadily forward, and you sense that there is a perfect order to this journey, a right time for everything. The flowers alongside the main avenue grow even more spectacular as you progress. Here, enormous poppies, with petals like silk scarves, wave gently in the breeze, each one a different shade of silver, or gold, or deep purple. There, delicate forget-me-nots carpet the ground in drifts of blue so pure it makes you think of the first moment of dawn, of baby's eyes, of everything innocent and hopeful in the world. Foxgloves tower above the other flowers, their bell-shaped blooms chiming softly when the breeze stirs them, adding percussion to the garden's eternal symphony. Night-blooming cereus unfold their magnificent faces to the moon, their white petals edged with gold, their centers glowing with warm light that pulses gently like a heart. You find yourself walking more and more slowly, not from tiredness, but from a desire to absorb every detail, every wonder. Time has become elastic here, stretching to accommodate your need to experience fully each miracle that presents itself. Minutes might be passing, or hours. It's impossible to tell, and it doesn't matter. All that matters is this eternal now, this perfect moment that stretches on, filled with beauty beyond description. Your small guide chirps softly and circles back to flutter near your ear, as if to say that greater wonders await ahead. Looking forward along the avenue, you can see it beginning to curve more dramatically, leading towards something that makes the very air shimmer with anticipation. The sound of water grows stronger, and the fragrance in the air becomes even richer, hinting at mysteries yet to be revealed. The flowers begin to change as you walk deeper into the garden. While they remain just as beautiful, they take on a more aquatic quality. Water lilies that bloom on dry land, their great white faces turned up to the moon. Iris-like plants with sword-shaped leaves that catch and hold the light like captured rainbows. Reeds that whisper secrets when the wind passes through them. Your feathered companion flies a little higher now, its song becoming more complex and melodious, as if announcing your approach to something wonderful. The very air seems to thicken with magic, and you can feel something extraordinary waiting just around the bend in the avenue. The flowers part like curtains as you reach the curve in the path, and there before you opens a sight that stops you in your tracks with its sheer, breathtaking beauty. Chapter 3. The Star Reflecting Pool. As you round the gentle curve in the luminous avenue, the flower-bordered path opens into a circular clearing that takes your breath away completely. Before you lies a pool of water so perfectly still, so mirror clear that for a moment you're not sure if you're looking down at water or up at the night sky itself. The pool is perfectly round, perhaps 50 feet across, its edges defined by stones that have been polished to silk smooth perfection by countless years of gentle waves. The water is crystal clear, so transparent that you can see every grain of silver sand on the bottom, every small pebble that catches and holds the moonlight. But it's what floats on the surface that makes this place truly magical. The entire night sky is reflected there with such perfect clarity that you feel you could dive into the water and find yourself swimming among the stars themselves. Every constellation is visible in the pool's mirror surface. Orion, with his bright belt, the Great Bear wheeling slowly overhead, the delicate chain of the Pleiades sparkling like scattered diamonds. The moon, full and radiant, hangs in the center of the reflected sky, like a pearl of impossible size and luminosity. But these aren't just reflections. They seem somehow more real than the actual sky above, as if the pool has captured the very essence of night itself and holds it in its depths. Your small, feathered guide alights on one of the smooth stones at the pool's edge and chirps softly, as if to say, "This is what I wanted to show you." Then, with a flutter of moonlight wings, it disappears into the night, leaving you alone with this miracle of water and starlight. You approach the edge slowly, reverently, as if approaching a sacred altar. The stones beneath your feet are warm, still holding the memory of the day's sun despite the coolness of the night air. When you kneel beside the water, you can see your own face reflected among the stars, but somehow transformed, more peaceful, more beautiful than you've ever seen yourself look. The silence here is profound, but not empty. It's a rich, full silence, pregnant with possibility and thick with the presence of something infinitely benevolent. The only sounds are the gentle lapping of water against stone, so soft it's barely audible, and the distant whisper of night-blooming flowers releasing their fragrance to the moon-drunk air. As you sit beside the pool, you become aware that the water isn't quite as still as it first appeared. There's the faintest movement, subtle patterns of current that create tiny eddies and swirls on the surface. As these gentle movements disturb the reflected stars, they seem to come alive, dancing and swaying in slow, hypnotic rhythms. It's like watching the northern lights, but in reverse. Instead of lights dancing in the sky, you're seeing sky dancing in the lights. The longer you watch, the more the boundaries between reflection and reality begin to blur. Are you looking down at reflections of stars? Or are you somehow looking up at the actual cosmos through a window in the earth? The distinction ceases to matter. What matters is the beauty, the sense of infinite space and possibility that opens before you. The feeling that you're connected to every point of light in the vast universe. You notice that grass grows right to the water's edge, soft and thick as a cushion. Without conscious decision, you lie down on your back with your head near the pool, positioned so you can see both the actual sky above and its reflection in the water beside you. The grass is dry and warm beneath you, fragrant with the green scent of growing things, and incredibly comfortable, as if it has grown specifically to provide you with the perfect resting place. Looking up at the real sky, then turning your head to look at the reflected sky in the pool, you experience a moment of perfect disorientation that is not at all unpleasant. Which is up? Which is down? Which sky is real? The questions cease to have meaning as you simply exist in the space between sky and reflected sky, held perfectly balanced between heaven and its mirror image. The moon above pulses gently with silver light, while the moon in the water seems to breathe, its reflected surface expanding and contracting slightly with the barely perceptible movements of the water. Stars twinkle overhead, while their reflected twins dance with fluid grace below. You're suspended between two infinite spaces, both equally real, both equally magical. As you lie there, perfectly still, something extraordinary begins to happen. The water starts to show you images that aren't reflections of anything in the sky above. At first, you think you might be imagining it, but as you watch more carefully, you realize the pool is somehow sharing dreams with you, offering glimpses of wonders beyond the physical world. You see yourself floating among clouds that glow with inner light, their surfaces soft as silk scarves, their shadows painted in shades of lavender and gold. In this dream vision, you can actually feel the texture of cloud stuff beneath your fingertips, cool and slightly electric, alive with tiny sparks of creative energy. You drift from cloud to cloud, weightless and free, while gentle winds carry you through landscapes of vapor and light. The scene shifts, and now you're standing on bridges made of pure radiance, spans of concentrated starlight that arch between worlds you can't quite see. The bridge beneath your feet is warm and firm, pulsing gently with the same rhythm as your heartbeat. Other figures walk these bridges of light, not clearly visible, but suggested, felt, rather than seen. And you understand that you're part of some vast, loving community that spans not just space, but dimensions of being you can barely comprehend. Another image rises from the water's depths, vast gardens hanging in space, their roots drawing nourishment from the aurora borealis itself. In these celestial gardens, flowers the size of trees bloom in colors that don't exist on Earth. Their petals made of crystallized music that chimes softly as cosmic winds pass through them. You see yourself tending these impossible flowers, your hands glowing with the same gentle light that fills their petals. And you know with absolute certainty that this is not just fantasy, but memory of something real, something your soul has experienced in dimensions beyond ordinary dreaming. The visions continue to flow from the star-filled water, each one more beautiful than the last. You see cities made of light, where beings of pure love move in harmony through streets paved with compressed rainbows. You witness the birth of new constellations, watch as cosmic artists paint nebulae across the canvas of space with brushes made of comet tails. You experience yourself as both infinitely small and limitlessly vast, a single point of consciousness that somehow contains all possible experiences within it. Through it all, you remain lying peacefully on the warm grass beside the miraculous pool. You're breathing deep and slow, your heart beating in rhythm with the gentle pulse of the universe itself. Time has lost all meaning here. You might have been watching these visions for minutes or hours or days. It doesn't matter. All that exists is this eternal now, this perfect moment of connection with mysteries beyond naming. Gradually, the visions begin to fade, not disappearing, but gently dissolving back into the simple miracle of reflected stars. You find yourself once again looking up at the ordinary yet extraordinary night sky, then down at its perfect twin in the still water. But something has changed. You feel expanded, somehow larger than you were when you first approached this magical pool, as if your consciousness has been stretched to accommodate new understanding, new possibilities. The grass beneath you seems even softer now, and you realize you're completely relaxed in a way you may have never experienced before. Every muscle in your body has released its tension. Every worry in your mind has dissolved like morning mist. You feel held, supported, not just by the earth beneath you, but by something vast and loving that surrounds and fills all things. The pool continues its gentle breathing, the reflected stars, their slow dance. Somewhere in the distance, you hear the soft sound of water moving over stone, and you realize there must be a stream or spring feeding this miraculous pool, keeping it fresh and alive. The sound is incredibly peaceful, like a lullaby made of liquid silver. As you lie there in perfect contentment, you become aware that your time beside the star pool is naturally drawing to a close. Not because you must leave, but because some inner wisdom tells you that greater wonders await deeper in the garden. The pool has given you what you needed, this deep peace, this sense of connection to the infinite, this expanded awareness of your place in the cosmic dance. Slowly, reluctantly, you sit up and take one last long look at the miracle before you. The stars in the water pulse gently, as if winking goodbye, and for just a moment you could swear you see your small feathered guide reflected among them, chirping silently in the depths before disappearing into reflected starlight. You stand and brush grass from your clothes, though somehow you're not actually dirty. The garden seems to repel such mundane concerns. As you prepare to continue your journey, you notice something you hadn't seen before, another path leading away from the far side of the pool, disappearing between trees, whose trunks glow with soft, pearl-like radiance. The pool settles into perfect stillness behind you as you walk toward this new path, but you carry its peace with you, its gift of expanded awareness, its promise that the universe is far more wonderful and interconnected than you ever dared imagine. The reflected stars seem to follow you as you go, twinkling now, not just in the pool, but in your very soul. Chapter 4. The Moonlit Pavilion. The path away from the star pool is different from the flower-lined avenue you traveled earlier. Here, the way is paved with smooth stones that seem to be made of compressed moonlight, each one glowing softly with its own inner radiance. The stones are warm beneath your feet and slightly soft, like walking on sea-smoothed glass that has somehow retained the memory of sand. Each step creates tiny ripples of silver light that spread outward from where your foot touches down, as if you're walking across the surface of a luminous pond. Ancient trees line this new path, but these are unlike any trees that grow in earthly forests. Their trunks are silver white, smooth as marble, but clearly alive, with a subtle pulse that seems to match your heartbeat. Their bark has an opalescent quality that shifts and shimmers as moonlight plays across its surface, creating patterns that suggest faces, flowers, and fantastic creatures. Though when you look directly at them, they dissolve back into the natural beauty of living wood. The branches of these trees are laden with leaves that look like they've been cut from sheets of silver and pearl. They move with every breath of air, creating a sound like gentle rain or distant wind chimes. But it's not just sound they create. Each movement releases tiny sparks of light that drift down like luminous snow, creating a constantly shifting canopy of soft radiance above your head. As you walk beneath these guardian trees, their branches seem to grow lower, creating an increasingly intimate passage. Soon you find yourself in a tunnel of living light, the intertwined branches forming a ceiling that pulses gently with silver-green radiance. The effect is not claustrophobic, but embracing, as if the trees are offering you their protection and blessing as you journey deeper into the heart of this magical realm. The air here is even more fragrant than before, filled with scents that seem to bypass your nose and speak directly to your soul. There's the clean smell of moonlight on water, the green fragrance of growing things blessed by starlight, and underneath it all, something that can only be described as the scent of peace itself. Cool, clean, and infinitely restoring. Through gaps in the living ceiling, you catch glimpses of the moon, now directly overhead, and so bright it's almost silver white rather than yellow. Its light filters through the pearl-like leaves, creating patterns of light and shadow that move across your skin like gentle caresses. You feel blessed by this light, transformed by it, as if each photon carries with it some fragment of cosmic wisdom that seeps into your very being. The path begins to slope gently upward, and you realize you're climbing a low hill. The effort required is minimal. Somehow, your body feels lighter here, as if the normal rules of gravity have been softened by the garden's magic. Your breathing remains deep and easy, your steps confident and sure. With each rise in elevation, the view back through the trees becomes more spectacular, showing glimpses of the wonders you've already discovered, the distant glow of the flower avenue, the mirror-bright surface of the star pool reflecting its captured cosmos. Ahead, the tunnel of branches begins to open up, and you can sense that you're approaching something significant. The very air seems to thicken with anticipation, not tense, but rich with the promise of revelation. The sound of your footsteps on the moonstone path creates tiny echoes that seem to announce your arrival to whatever waits ahead. Then, quite suddenly, you emerge from the tree tunnel into a circular clearing at the top of the hill, and your breath catches in your throat at the sight that greets you. Before you stands a pavilion of such exquisite beauty that it seems to have been crystallized from a dream of perfect architecture. The pavilion is small and intimate, perhaps 20 feet across, circular in design, and open to the night sky. Its columns are made of white marble, so pure it seems to glow from within, each one perfectly proportioned and carved with intricate patterns that seem to move and shift in the moonlight. The carvings are abstract, yet somehow deeply meaningful, spirals that suggest growth and transformation, intertwining vines that speak of connection and continuity, geometric patterns that hint at the underlying order of the universe. The roof of the pavilion is perhaps its most remarkable feature. Rather than solid stone or wood, it appears to be made of crystallized moonlight, translucent, silvery, and shot through with points of captured starlight that pulse gently like a slow heartbeat. This ethereal ceiling provides shelter while still allowing the full glory of the night sky to be visible from within, creating the perfect balance between protection and openness to the cosmos. Climbing plants embrace each column, but these are no ordinary vines. Their leaves are deep green silver, and they're covered with flowers that glow like tiny lanterns. Some blooms are pure white, others soft gold, and still others a deep purple that seems to hold pieces of twilight within their petals. The flowers don't just provide light, they seem to sing as well. Their barely audible harmonies adding another layer to the garden's eternal symphony. Between the columns, hanging on chains that seem to be made of woven starlight, are lanterns of impossible delicacy. They appear to be crafted from glass so thin it's barely visible, their surfaces iridescent like soap bubbles. Within each lantern, instead of flame or electric light, glows a soft radiance that pulses gently, some white, some gold, some the palest blue-green. The light they cast is warm and welcoming, adding to the pavilion's aura of perfect sanctuary. As you approach the pavilion, you notice that the ground around it is carpeted with the softest grass you've ever seen. Grass so thick and luxurious, it's like walking on a living cloud. Flowers grow among the grass, tiny ones, barely visible individually, but creating a tapestry of subtle color and gentle fragrance that adds to the sense of being in a place where every detail has been crafted with infinite love and care. The steps leading up to the pavilion are made of the same white marble as the columns, but they're shallow and wide, inviting rather than imposing. As your foot touches the first step, you feel a gentle warmth, as if the marble itself is alive and welcoming you home. Each step upward increases this sense of welcome, this feeling of coming to a place where you belong completely. Inside the pavilion, the beauty becomes even more intimate and personal. The floor is covered with what appears to be a single large cushion, made from fabric so soft and fine it might have been woven from clouds and moonbeams. It's covered in pale silk the color of fresh cream, with embroidered patterns picked out in silver thread, constellations, flowers, flowing water, all the elements of the garden translated into textile art of breathtaking delicacy. This magnificent cushion is clearly intended as a resting place, and just looking at it makes you feel relaxed and drowsy in the most pleasant way possible. Pillows are arranged around its edges, not many, just enough to provide perfect support for however you might wish to recline. These too are covered in silk, some cream-colored like the main cushion, others in shades of silver and pearl that seem to capture and hold the moonlight. But it's the scent that makes this place truly special. As you step fully into the pavilion, you're enveloped in the most wonderful fragrance, lavender, but lavender as it might smell in paradise, clean and calming and somehow shot through with starlight. The scent seems to come from the very air itself, as if the pavilion exists in a pocket of atmosphere that has been infused with perfect peace. Above, the crystalline ceiling allows you to see the entire night sky in all its glory. The moon hangs directly overhead, so bright and close you feel you could reach up and pluck it like a fruit. Stars scatter across the heavens in patterns both familiar and strange, some pulsing gently, others steady in their radiance, all of them seeming somehow more alive, more aware than stars you've seen before. You move slowly around the pavilion's perimeter, taking in every detail, every wonder. The columns frame views of the garden below like living paintings. Here, the glow of the distant flower avenue. There, the silver mirror of the star pool. Beyond that, groves and glades you haven't yet explored, but that beckon with promises of their own mysteries. The hanging lanterns cast their gentle light in patterns that seem to dance with your movement, creating an ever-changing play of illumination that makes you feel as if you're at the center of some cosmic ballet. The climbing flowers release their glow in waves, sometimes brighter, sometimes softer, as if they're breathing light instead of air. Finally, inevitably, you're drawn to the great cushioned bed at the pavilion's center. As you approach it, you can see that it's even more beautiful up close than from a distance. The embroidered patterns tell stories. Here, a vine growing toward the moon. There, butterflies dancing among stars. In another corner, a pool reflecting the face of night herself. Each design is perfect in its detail, yet they all flow together to create a unified whole that speaks of the essential unity underlying all beauty. You sit on the edge of the cushion, and it's like sitting on a cloud made solid, firm enough to support you perfectly, yet soft enough to cradle every curve of your body. The silk covering is warm to the touch, as if it has been blessed by the sun, even here in this realm of eternal moonlight. Leaning back against the pillows, you find yourself in a position of perfect comfort. Your body relaxes completely, tension flowing out of muscles you didn't even realize were tight. The lavender-scented air fills your lungs, and with each breath, you feel more peaceful, more centered, more perfectly aligned with the harmony that flows through all things. Above you, the moon-bright ceiling frames the vast night sky. From this position, the moon appears even larger and more luminous, and you begin to notice details you've never seen before. Its surface isn't the cold, crater-marked sphere you know from the ordinary world, but something far more beautiful. a perfectly smooth face that seems to be smiling down at you with infinite tenderness and love. The stars, too, are transformed. They pulse with gentle rhythms, some fast, some slow, all perfectly coordinated, like the instruments in a cosmic orchestra. As you watch, you begin to see connections between them, lines of light that appear and disappear, creating geometric patterns that speak of the underlying order that connects all things. Your eyelids begin to grow heavy, but it's not the tiredness of exhaustion. It's the drowsiness of perfect peace, the gentle pull of sleep that comes when the soul knows it's completely safe, completely loved, completely home. The lavender scent seems to grow stronger, more enveloping, wrapping around you like the gentlest embrace. The hanging lanterns dim slightly, as if they understand that it's time for rest. Their light becomes softer, warmer, more golden than silver, creating an atmosphere of perfect twilight within the pavilion. The climbing flowers seem to close their petals just a little, concentrating their glow, making the space feel more intimate and cocoon-like. As you settle more deeply into the cushions, your body seems to melt into the silk and softness beneath you. Every muscle releases its last vestige of tension. Every joint finds its perfect position. The pavilion itself seems to embrace you, its columns standing guard while its crystalline ceiling continues to frame your view of the infinite cosmos above. The moon's face grows even more gently as you watch, its light becoming less bright and more nurturing, like the glow of a perfect nightlight that promises peaceful dreams. The stars begin their slow dance across the heavens, some growing brighter as others fade, creating an ever-shifting tapestry of light that seems designed specifically to lull you into the deepest, most restorative sleep imaginable. Your breathing naturally deepens and slows, each inhalation bringing more of that blessed lavender peace into your lungs. Each exhalation releasing whatever small concerns might still be clinging to the edges of your consciousness. The rhythm of your breath begins to synchronize with the gentle pulsing of the stars, the soft breathing of the flowers, the eternal heartbeat of the garden itself. The boundaries between sleeping and waking begin to blur. Are your eyes closed or open? Are you still gazing up at the moon through the pavilion's crystal ceiling? Or has the moon somehow entered your dreams? It doesn't matter. All that matters is this perfect peace, this absolute safety, this sense of being held and loved by something infinitely greater and more benevolent than anything you've ever known. In this state between worlds, you begin to understand that the garden isn't just a place you visited. It's become part of you, woven into the very fabric of your being. The peace you found here, the beauty you've witnessed, the love you've felt. These aren't temporary experiences that will fade with morning. They're gifts that have changed you forever, expanding your capacity for joy, for wonder, for the deep knowing that beneath all the surface turbulence of ordinary life, all is fundamentally well. The pavilion pulses gently with warmth and light, like a great heart made of marble and moonbeams. The silk beneath you seems to flow like liquid starlight, supporting you perfectly as you float between earth and sky, between consciousness and dreams, between your individual self and the vast, loving intelligence that animates all things. Your last conscious thought is a wordless expression of gratitude for this garden, for this journey, for the profound peace that now fills every cell of your being. And then, cradled as silk and starlight, blessed by lavender and moonbeams, surrounded by beauty beyond description and love beyond measure, you drift into the most peaceful sleep you have ever known.